Awesome. Thank you. All right, Teresa, thanks for chatting with me today. Um,
Sure.
I wanted to hear how your perspective on managing stress and burnout and overwhelm has changed since doing HBA.
Well, I think that the biggest thing that has changed is the all or nothing perspective, the all or nothing attitude that um, I'm not necessarily where I want to be at the goal destination. Things aren't perfect and they're not going to be, but that I can be okay with moving forward, making progress, being patient, um, having that flexibility to being okay with where I am while still just moving forward and making progress.
Yeah, the flexibility is definitely one of the biggest pieces in HBA that we have to build. Otherwise, like you're familiar with, we get stuck in that loop of like, well, if it can't be perfect, it's not going to be anything at all. And it's been really cool to see because I follow you on Instagram since HBA, like seeing more of that consistency from you and just like seeing those mental reps be put in. It's really, really been cool to see that too. So, what actually motivated you to join HBA? Obviously, you were new to my world. This was our first time
Yeah.
working together. So, like, what pushed you in? What was the thing that you were like, yeah, I'm doing this?
Well, I've been listening to your podcast for a little bit. I obviously was introduced to you through our mutual friend, Britt, who works with you, has worked with you for a while. She's a mentor of mine. Um, and I had, been having a conversation with her. And, I'm almost 45 years old and having this conversation of, you know, I've worked on myself. I've done a lot of different varying personal development over the years, read the books, listened to the podcasts. But knowing that I need to, and I should have done it years and years ago, but I need to do more deeper personal for me, like therapy, whatever, and just trying to figure out what route I should be going. And, she talked about how she works with you one on one. And I wasn't sure, I didn't know. And I saw HBA. I was like, okay, I think this is the gateway. Like this is the we're gonna find out. We're gonna do this like baby steps and see if this is a good path for me to figure my ish out.
Yeah, it's like HBA is like the perfect way to like dip your toes into, okay, am I like ready to do this type of work or am I still pretty comfortable in the patterns that I have? Because there's definitely that part of it too. A lot of people can say that they want to change, but then when it really comes down to it, they're like, but I'm kind of comfortable here, so I'm not going to. So yeah, totally
Yeah.
agree. HBA is definitely that thing where you can like test it out a little bit, test out the coaching that I provide, see if it suits you, and then we keep moving forward. So I know you're really, really busy. You do a lot. Did you find the structure and the layout and the deliverability of HBA to be helpful? Was it easy to follow? Was it overwhelming? What was that process like?
It was honestly like that was perfect. I'm so sorry, the dog's barking.
You're okay.
Um, I shut the office door and that's just not
Oh,
acceptable.
no, you can't ever
No,
do
yeah,
that.
it was perfect because the brain zaps 10 to 15 minutes tops. Um, I'm on the East Coast. They would come, around 6:30 in the morning. I usually leave my house about quarter to seven. So I'm either like listening just as I'm finishing up, or if I'm like, getting those last minute things together, it's like, okay, we'll just don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Listen as soon as you get into the car and you have that nice 15-minute, 20-minute drive to work. You can plug that in and just listen and think about it as you go through the course of your day. It's 15 minutes long, but it's not said and done and over with in 15 minutes. There,
Yeah.
you have to work through that and figure out how to apply it
Yeah.
after that.
Absolutely.
But, it was nice that it wasn't in, the traditional group setting where you have everybody's back and forth and you have to weed through what's important, what's not important. You're getting the meat and to delivered to you.
Yeah, right to the palm of your hands. Yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest goals I had with it was remove all of the layers, remove all of the barriers to actually
Yeah.
completing the program and
No
just, but
distractions.
yeah, like put it right in their hands, give them the opportunity to listen to it and do it in a time where they could habit stack with other things that they're doing in the morning. So yeah, absolutely. Are there any particular tools, techniques, or any brains apps that really stick out to you that gave you any form of like aha moment or really shifted how you were moving throughout the day? Any ones that stand out?
I think like the orchestra towards the end was big.
Yeah,
That was really, you know, enlightening for me.
yeah.
Um, and the beginning where just figuring out our different neurosystems and connecting the brain and the body and the emotions and, you know, still doing that, still having to go back and listen to your body and what is my body telling me right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of coming off of autopilot too. So I have to
Yeah.
tell you, I left my office door open and my cat is now right here. So I totally get it. This is why she would have been screaming at the door too. So, how did you feel about the lifeline feature of the program? Did you find those tools to be helpful, in those moments where stress was pretty high?
I did find them very helpful. I will say that for me, it was probably the most underutilized tool that I know that I needed to use more,
Yeah.
that I would forget about sometimes. And, then afterwards saying, why didn't I plug, why didn't I do that? But I do have like two or three that, that I will still continuously just do just to take a few moments and realize you can pause and, take a breath.
Yeah.
I
And you
like the
have round
behind the
two as well.
ears.
Yeah, yeah, you can now that you underutilized them maybe in the first round. Now round two, it's like and that's the thing with them. They're
Yeah.
unlimited. You can use them, get those keywords as much as you want. So blow them up round two, and obviously we'll be working
Yeah.
one on one as well. So
Yeah.
and then last and final question. Any words, advice, anything that you feel like someone on the fence or is just kind of unsure, has maybe done programs in the past and has just been kind of burnt out, anything you'd want them to know about HBA?
I would just say just do it because there's really nothing to lose. I mean, obviously, there's a financial investment, but there always is, and you waste money on way stupider things.
Yeah.
And you can if you're really serious about realizing that you need to make a change, we can always figure out a way. We can always, come up with the tools. And you've been great with being flexible with, okay, well, you can pay half now and half later, or whatever the thing is. It was huge for me, that I could utilize my HSA account.
Yeah.
But even still, like you can find a way, you can figure it out, and just do it. Just dip your toe in like I did and see what you can change in the course of 4 weeks
Yeah.
because it's big. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
And I know I said that was the last question, but I actually have one more, if you don't mind answering. So I remember when we were talking about HBA, your big hesitation was you were afraid that it would be something that you just paid, did, but then didn't finish, that you would
Yeah.
basically utilize it. And
Yeah.
so now that you've gone through it and
Hmm.
you experienced the whole thing, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Right. I think what I want to know is like, what did HBA teach you about yourself in that regard? Like,
And yeah. Well, definitely that I can follow through, and that again, it's not an all or nothing mentality, that this is a process and it's something that, I love that it's right there. Like even if I wasn't going on to round two, I can go back and I can pretend I'm doing the same program over and over and over again. I can listen to your words, and keep applying them fresh and keep making little edits and little changes, as if I paid the money and doing a month two and month three and month four, and it's still relevant.
yeah,
And it doesn't matter that I've been through it already. Um, but yeah, I couldn't follow through. And it wasn't something, it didn't stack. It was just here's your nugget for each and every day. And I think when I've done different things before, you start to get a little behind. And so you start to get overwhelmed and feeling like I'm never going to catch up.
Yeah.
And it just goes to the back burner. And life keeps happening, and you have to keep more moving forward with everything else that's going on in your life. And that gets pushed aside. And this didn't need to get pushed aside because it was like I said, it's not just 10 to 15 minutes of work, but it's 10 to 15 minutes of paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And it was you right there in our ears, not something that I had to go read this and then do this and then do this. So it was
Or
just it was just really, really doable for
right.
anybody with any schedule.
Love that.
You could listen to it while even if you did get behind, you could listen to it the next morning while you're in the shower or when you're whatever you're doing. Everybody has 10 to 15 minutes they can
Grocery
listen
store.
to something.
Yeah, grocery store while you're scrolling, while you're cooking.
Folding laundry, doing
Yeah.
dishes,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your willingness to answer these questions. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop recording.